Kevin Gordon here from AutoSavant.com with your August 6th edition of the afternoon commute. It's been a pretty big delay since our last one, and really there's not many great excuses for that, but you may notice that we're back in the long-term test EcoBoost Ford F-150, as we will be until the middle or late September. And the reason for that is because the Gordon household is expecting another new edition, meaning we're having another kid. And that's supposed to happen sometime in the middle of the month, which means I haven't scheduled any press loaners to make it so that I can actually be fair to any that I have. So for the next month or so, I'm going to be doing some different stuff, including some comparisons of some cleaning products. We have an interesting RAM mount to be able to mount an iPad or computer laptop in the actual long-term test F-150, as well as potentially some audio products to upgrade the stereo that's in here, because the base stereo that's available in the F-150 is deplorable at best. But anyway, since it's been so long since we've done an afternoon commute, there's been quite a lot that's going on. So as we go through the next couple days, and we'll try to get more frequent with the afternoon commutes going forward, I'm going to go back in time, cover some things that we haven't talked about, and also the stuff that's happening on a daily basis. So let's start with, the 2013 Nissan Pathfinder has officially been released, and as expected, based on all the prototypes, it's dropped the body on frame style and gone to a unibody construction, which means it's about 500 pounds lighter. It gets better fuel economy, up to about 26 on the highway, I believe, but the EPA hasn't officially certified that yet. And in all honesty, if you want to know more about it, if you've seen or heard of the Infiniti JX, which is their new 3-row crossover SUV, it's basically the same thing underneath. So now the Pathfinder's got 3 real rows in it. It seats 7 more comfortably than anything in their lineup really did before. It's got those trick second row fold and slide seats that if you've got car seats, as we now have 3 in the back of the F-150, if you have those, you can still slide a seat far enough forward that you can put somebody in the car. In addition to losing some weight, the base price of the Pathfinder's gone down. I think you can get one now starting at about $26,000. So that's all nice and good. I think the only issue I have with it is I'm not a giant fan of the way the new one looks. I think the Infiniti looks much better than the Pathfinder, but you can make the calls on that yourselves. Currently, as you may or may not know, Formula One is on its summer holiday. There's a 4-week gap in between races right now, but there's still Formula One news happening. It might not be with the races themselves, but with the actual racetracks that they're on. And the biggest thing that's popped up over the last week or so is the fact that the Circuit of the Americas, the new special built for Formula One track that'll be in Austin, Texas for the November race, the track itself has had its first full lap of paving completed, which is a bit amazing to think about it. They're planning on hosting a full Formula One weekend in November, and the first layer of tarmac or macadam or blacktop, whatever you like to call it based on your regional preferences, has just gone down. That may not seem like all that big of a deal, but you know, it's a pretty short timeline. What I thought was more interesting is the fact that they actually put down blacktop, asphalt, again, whatever you'd like to call it, in Austin, Texas. The reason why that's impressive is most of the roads that are in Texas are concrete, and it's because it gets so hot there that the standard blacktop that you'd lay down as it is, say, here in the Northeast would melt. Well, they've actually developed a special formulation of asphalt specifically for the Formula One track, and it's a pretty extensive process they go through. They put down, I think, 14 or 15 inches of lime rock. Then there's a bunch of different layers with actual pieces in between them, to the point that the actual track that the Formula One cars are going to race on is about 2.5 feet deep when you really get down to it, to make sure that it stays billiard table smooth and doesn't get, ripped up by the Formula One cars. They've also added quite a bit more sand to it, and the actual rock that they're putting into it is very aggressive so that it doesn't get polished and become slippery. The goal being to make it consistent through, from the beginning of the week until the end as they move into the future as well. So pretty interesting and exciting to see Formula One come back to the United States, especially considering the fact that it's a purpose-built track for Formula One and, in all honesty, MotoGP, as far as the motorcycles as well. Next up for today, the Mini Paceman has unofficially leaked, but intentionally posted on Mini's Facebook page. So the Mini Countryman Coupe, as we talked about a while ago, the Mini is soon going to have 9 different models in their lineup. Well, the Paceman was the one that was sort of up in the air as far as a question, and it's now official. And, the Mini has sort of been in the news because of the 2012 Summer Olympics. And I thought it was kind of funny watching the opening ceremonies, the fact that a Mini drove into the stadium like, hey, there's a Mini Cooper, good British, well, actually it's a BMW underneath, and it's owned by the Germans at this point, but still it's a Mini, and so we're going to brand the living hell out of it and tie it to the Olympics. So expect to see the Paceman with its 211 horsepower engine come out soon in front-wheel drive, as well as optional all-wheel drive whatever Mini brands it. Also, while we were on break, the 2013 Lexus LS was officially announced and released into the public. All the details of it aren't completely known yet, but we do know that it's going to look a lot like the GS and the ES. Lexus has really went back and sort of reformulated their entire lineup to have much more of a family face on it, much like Audi does at this point, and really in some ways BMW does. The new LS, to my eyes, looks really, really good. I think the F Sport model, of course, is the most attractive and aggressive looking of them, but they've put some interesting creases and bulges in the LS and I think made an attractive package. What's going to be interesting is the fact that the LS is not coming with any kind of new real engine lineup, at least that it looks like, for 2013. My bet would be the fact that, like a lot of manufacturers do, say like Ford with the Mustang, they'll redo the body style for 2013, but a new set of engines has to be coming. You have to assume it's going to be really hard for Lexus to continue to compete with BMW and Mercedes when BMW and Mercedes have gone to forced induction to get, big horsepower and torque numbers while keeping their fuel economy up, where Lexus with their 4.6 liter V8, it might make 360 some horsepower, but to keep their fuel economy standards in line with the Germans, expect to see new engine lineups at some point, but we'd still love to get our hands on one of them. We really did like the GS, and it looks like the LS is going to be another good complement to their lineup. And finally for today, the Porsche 918 Spyder, Porsche's new Halo supercar, with its 4-liter V8 that's going to rev up to about 9,500 RPM by all estimates and make about 500 horsepower, as well as its twin electric motors that can propel the car on their own up to 70 some miles per hour. It really does look like it's going to be an interesting thing from Porsche, but that's been known for a while. Why are we talking about it? Well, they went and painted one or more of them in Martini racing livery, and it really does look good. I mean, just look at that thing. It's sort of what you want in a race car. And, you know, it's a bit of a gimmick to go paint it up like a race car, especially one that, you know, isn't actively advertising in racing these days other than along the Monaco GP. But the thing does look good, and I think those colors work really well for it. So as usual, I'm Kevin Gordon from Autosavant.com with the August 6th edition of the Afternoon Commute, and I look forward to talking to you guys tomorrow.